Only 16 haunted attractions have been recognized by the Halloween Attractions Show and their industry peers as being truly legendary. To be selected as a legendary haunted attraction and to join this exclusive group is one of the industry's highest honors. Incredible scenes, unique scares, and a quality staff are just a few of the building blocks to success. So on behalf of Trans World Trade Shows and Netherworld Haunted House, I would like to present Fear Factory with the Legendary Haunt Award. The entertainment industry is constantly changing. For an attraction like Nightmare on 13th to continuously adapt and thrive speaks volumes to the professionalism and forward thinking of this team. So again, I would like to present now Nightmare on 13th with the Legendary Haunt Award. To give a round of applause to Michael Shaley and Ghost Ride Productions for providing these wonderful awards. Okay, so now I'm going to ask each of the people up on stage to introduce themselves and give a brief description of their role at their event. So we'll start.
I'm Rob Dunfield. I'm one of the owners, co-owner of Fear Factory. Fear Factory has been open since 2011, but I've been haunting pretty much all my life. My father, who is here in the audience also, is one of the owners of Fear Factory, and he worked with the March of Dimes Haunted House back when I was learning how to walk, and so I grew up doing this stuff. And so that's kind of my history, my role at the haunted house. My wife and I oversee more of the back of the house. So the actors and we all have intertwined roles, as you all know. There's probably 5 roles and rolled into each person's job description. But Heidi and I do most of the back of the house with the actors and the casting and all of that stuff.
Hello. Alright. I'm gonna give this to Bob, Big Bob, Rob's dad, because without him, this shit that we got would never left the dock. So if it wasn't for Rob's dad, then we wouldn't be up here. So that's awesome. My name's Keith Sharp, and my wife's Cindy Sharp, and we actually have the same last name. Not very common these days. So I do the construction and all the weird, crappy metal that looks like it's gonna fall on you. Just might. And the audio, video, lighting. Alongside, I got a right-hand man, Talis Jarvis, and we hire him and his guys from Black Ops Baby, and they help. All the dumb stuff we do, we make sure it's safe. And yeah, we buy stuff at Trans World, then we break it, and then we remake it, and then we simplify it, and remake it again, and build the sets, and the actors break the sets. If you're not breaking stuff, you're not doing it right. So we do our best. But yeah. It is crazy that we've gotten big enough that really we don't do anything. None of us do anything. It's a team effort. We wouldn't be crap without everybody else at this point. So it's all everybody that came from our places. We are nothing without you guys. So
I can get 30 to 45 minutes by myself.
Yeah. Can we have Fear Factory just stand up this year? Let them stand up.
He asked for Fear Factory to just stand up so that we can recognize all of your staff. Okay, now let's introduce Nightmare on 13th
So Travis and I do everything. We do the acting and everything. 'Cause, I don't know how they can afford all these people there at Fear Factory. Now, all my guys are at the haunted house waiting to scare you guys. So come and, ruin their mojo tonight. So, anyway, I'm Mike Henry. I'm the owner of Nightmare on 13th. Just like Rob, I have a lot of hats and just oversee most of the operations and all the stuff. All the people that are doing things, you guys know how that works, right? Let's see, I've been at this for 29, this was my 29th season, so we're coming up on our 30th next year. And we used to compete with the March of Dimes back in my younger years. Yeah. So the March of Dimes was the big boy back when we started the haunted house. Okay, then this is Travis. Here you go, Travis.
Hello. I mostly do marketing, deal with some operation stuff, but marketing and public relations is mostly what I specialize in.
Fantastic, thank you. So now, because I know you want to hear all about their events, we're going to go to a more rapid fire kind of question and answer. I'm going to give you two a microphone, and you guys can share that microphone, and I'll project the questions, and then you guys can take turns answering them. How's that?
Yes.
First question everybody here wants to know, how was your season?
Excellent. It was magical. And now to end it with Legendary Haunt Tour. It's even more magical. No, it's been a great season. The weather was awesome here in Salt Lake. You guys probably felt some cold air last night. We dropped temperatures pretty significantly the last few days, but up until then, it's been fairly moderate and very good. We haven't had any snow in September or October this year. So we have had years where people come and walk through snow to go through.
That's been rare in the last 10 years.
Yeah, the last 10 years it's been.
Global warming!
Now we're known, we can have snowstorms in October, that's for sure. But yeah, our season was, when you've been in business for 29 years, you kind of just sort of do this, and we were just sort of doing kind of an average season. So the weather, the good weather, sometimes affects us a little bit on the bad side because we're an indoor haunt, and there's a lot of outdoor stuff to do here in Salt Lake. There's a lot of corn mazes, a lot of pumpkin patches, a lot of some outdoor haunted attractions. So worked out okay though. Worked out great. We had an average season, I guess you'd say.
Nightmare on 13th, how large is your staff?
Okay, so we have about 150 to 200, depending on the year. This year was about 170 between support, actor leads, and actors.
And same question, Fear Factory?
Actors, we have about 200 on our roster, but in the show every night, between 80 and 100. And then front of house, about 30 to 40. And then when we have, that includes our rides. We have the zip line and the fear fall rides, which you guys didn't get to try, unfortunately. With those as well, those are included in front of house.
And where do you find them?
Everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah, everywhere.
We're looking for tips.
Oh my.
Aren't we?
Social media, yeah, we advertise for actors and we market to different acting.
They're asking where you
groups.
advertise.
Ooh. Facebook is primarily.
Facebook. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, on our website, on our page, sometimes we'll advertise, we're hiring and looking for actors and adding staff, and advertise there.
Go ahead, Nightmare.
We do a lot through our website. We have it so people can email us year-round. and then we'll just reach back out to them. Imagine that. People want to work there, even from the last season, we'll reach out to those guys again. And then we do mostly through Facebook though. Facebook advertising, and then also Facebook employment. I don't know, it's a new thing Facebook added, like job postings on Facebook.
And what's your average retention rate?
For us, depending on the year, usually about 70% retention.
In Fear Factory?
I usually about 20 pounds by December. That's just me.
Our actors, I would say it's probably about 60% return. And our staff probably, help me out over there.
You're hiring 60.
About 60 as well. 60% of our staff front of house returns each year. It's always, we always are adding new people every year, but we have a good solid base, I think, now of returning actors and staff.
Awesome. And what type of training do you do with your staff?
I guess we'll go first. So we start in August with hiring. We do like a 3-class training before they're actually hired, and then we do final interviews. So it's usually about a 4-week process. We call them Nightmare Academies, where they come in, we train them how, like, on a whole bunch of different areas, whether it's working with the cast, jump scares, or it's dialogue roles, or improving, or it's all these different areas where we're trying to see how they would work for us, and then we do all of that before we actually hire them.
Actor training, we have a training team called the Freak Squad, and they set out a curriculum at the beginning of the summer, and we have training classes beginning throughout the whole summer. We have classes from our Touch of Fear, which is the hands-on experience. Only certain actors are allowed to do that once they're trained and certified, as well as weapons training, and then we do other acting trainings and things like that, and in their area training and spatial orientation and movement and voice training. I mean, we have quite an extensive program. I'm sure I'm leaving out some of the things, but the Freak Squad covers a lot. And the zone, what?
The zone leaders.
Oh yeah, well, the team that's here tonight are our zone leaders. We have our house is divided into different zones, and so each one has a leader over it, and a lot of them are part of the Freak Squad and the training team.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, let's move into safety. So, can you see how the microphone moves? He walks off the stage, everything. Okay, here we go. Safety, just talk to us a little bit about your philosophy with safety. You can talk about security cameras, do you use metal detectors, law enforcement or regular security, fire suppression, any of those kinds of things. We just would love to hear about.
Well, one of our training emphasis is on safety and actor training and safety with the customers as well as our staff. We have an extensive fire system that pumps water through every one of those buildings and tunnels and things, and some pretty extensive lasers to smoke detection and all kinds of things. It's more than we need for fire. No. So that's our safety on fire. We do a lot of the training for egress and things like that.
Do you use law enforcement or
yes,
regular
we do.
security?
We have a safety team. Our security team we call the safety team because we really want them there to keep their eyes and ears out for any kind of safety event that may occur. And they're there more to answer questions and be a help to the customers than they are to be a bouncer or a big tough guy. That's what we found works best with our customers. And we do have them, we have a staff of them every night. We have police officers on duty every Fridays and Saturday night.
Yeah, safety is one of those things that an owner kind of has to enforce, and all of the guys under us kind of hate it, right? So I come into a room and I say, really, you're going to do this? How many workman's comp deals am I going to have this year, right? But so as far as we've got a guideline for how we build and how we do things so that we can keep it safe for not only the customer, but a lot of times you're working to make it safe for the actor, right? And so we try to keep those guidelines in check, and you'll see those tonight. But the other things that we have is I do not operate not a single hour without a police officer there. I don't even operate on weekdays without a police officer, because I just have found that it's just been so much nicer when we have communication, and I've had just as many problems happen on weekdays as I had on weekends. So that's me over the years. And we'll do, 2 or 3 depending on the nights. And then we also have our own internal security staff that patrols inside the haunted house, that know the haunted house better than someone from outside. As far as fire and all that stuff, obviously we have our fire inspection, and about the time you guys moved in about 10 years ago, they were really making us do a lot of stuff. So we've got all kinds of contraptions, right? And we can't operate in Salt Lake City without smoke detectors. And so we have these newfangled smoke detectors that learn, intelligent smoke detectors that learn how, is this room going to be fogged? Is that room going to be fogged? That kind of thing. And it's worked pretty good. But luckily we're in this day and age, or we would have been in trouble.
We do, I didn't mention it, we do have EMTs every night on staff, and then often multiple on weekends.
Oh yeah, another thing we have too is we have 50 cameras, 10 or 12 outside, we got about 40 inside. And those help with...
We have 51.
One of the desk cams working.
Yeah, they help a lot. And you guys, do you have cameras?
Yeah.
And so, so we mostly have them on the actors and different interactions that way, and the public, when they call us and say, oh, this actor, so-and-so actor, hurt me or whatever, and I say, well, let me check the camera and give me a call tomorrow about that. And I have yet to get a call back.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. Okay, another question that haunters always want to know is about advertising and marketing.
What's the question?
So just if you want to give us a synopsis of your primary outlets that you use, if you've got some great ideas for us. I've heard some haunts this last season, over the last 2 or 3 years, actually have dropped completely all of their radio. I'm talking about haunts that have typically spent in excess of over $50,000 on radio. They've dropped it, and they've not actually seen a drop in their attendance. So just things like that, anything that's unique to your industry here in Salt Lake City, or any ideas you can give us.
I don't know any of our ideas. I don't know their new ideas. Facebook, we use Facebook a lot for our marketing and advertising. No surprise. And we do use radio still. So I don't know. I think we've gone away from billboards.
TV, cross promotions, trades, guerrilla marketing, all of that.
Yeah, we kind of use our location as our billboard. Yeah, that's our biggest asset, is the location. Yeah, the billboard that sits in our parking lot is the highest rented billboard, or the highest to rent billboard in the state of Utah. The sign company told us. So our billboard is the tower and the paint on the side of the building and all the stuff that we do to draw eyes that way.
Our white trashery that we show.
As for us, we do digital billboards across I-15 and 215. Salt Lake is pretty nice because there's one major corridor that everyone travels to get into the city, and so you can hit about 90% of the people by being on those main roads. Other than that, a lot of Facebook, a lot of Instagram. We actually went back to radio last year. We had been with Pandora for quite a few years, but last year we made the change to go back to local radio, and we've seen some good success with that. So nothing with TV, some cross promotion stuff a little bit, and then like things with ads on buses. We do a lot with that, and then we do a lot of guerrilla marketing with coupons in Salt Lake County, like the whole Salt Lake Valley, the county south, and the county north. We just distribute to local businesses, different places that we put our coupons in, and that does really well for us.
Okay, and do either of you or both of you extend your season and maybe do any of the Friday the 13th that aren't in September, October, November, Valentine's Day, Christmas, any of those other events?
We do. We open for most Friday the 13th weekends. If there isn't one in the off season, we'll make one. Make one up. We do it often a halfway to Halloween event if there isn't a Friday the 13th in the spring or early summer. Or those are the main events.
We just follow Fear Factory. Whenever they open, that's what we do.
Or is that great?
Or has that been the opposite? I can't remember. But it seems like we're always open together. Yeah, Friday the 13th are good. And, this year we don't have any. September, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be already rolling.
Yeah. So we'll come up with something in the spring, I imagine. Let us know, will you, when you figure it out?
Give me the dates.
How are both of your events dealing with all the rising costs of producing an event, especially the size and scope of both of your events? How are you handling that and countering it?
It's easy, you run out of money around May.
Recycle. Recycle. A lot of, as you saw last night, the factory has a lot of repurposed, recycled old cool stuff. It's a lot of, we collect stuff all year round and look for stuff to use in the show. And some of it gets used, and some of it we still have piles of collections of stuff. We'll get to it.
It is interesting, as far as a business point of view, we've been raising our prices as inflation has risen. And it seems like haunted houses are to that point now. We're sort of at a plateau on our admission prices, And so I'm not sure we dare go up much more, but yet the costs keep rising. And so, insurance and just cost of doing business. But I don't know. I'd like to know from you guys, I guess, is how you've been coping with that. But obviously we have to pay them. And then, and hope that I think some of the ideas and things that come around that we open in the off season and stuff has helped. And, the side attractions that we both have. We have a side attraction that we opened this year called the Extreme. And you guys have a couple of rides that you do. And so, yeah.
Fabulous. Now these next questions I have, I would like all four of you to answer. So each person is going to have to take a shot at this. We're going to start on the first question. We're going to start on this end and we're going to go down. Travis, for you, what is the hardest thing you do all year in relation to your event?
I was going to say trying to get a full night's sleep in November. It doesn't really happen for a couple weeks. The hardest thing that I do in relation to our event, you guys all have time to think. This isn't fair. Okay, the hardest thing is probably in my position reminding people that we still exist after they haven't thought about us for 10 months. That's the hardest thing. It's always like, hey everybody, we still exist. Still, after 30 years, you're still not used to us popping up every single year. So that's probably what I stress about the most.
I know my hardest part of this business is the creative side. I have to do it every year, but I hate coming up with new ideas. I don't know about you guys. But you know, and that's why I hire artists and have a group around me that kind of, you know, thinks on the wrong side of their brain and they can come up with these ideas. But still, it's tough to come up with a new plan every year. And every year these kids, they demand it. So that's one of our things that we do a lot at the Nightmare on 13th. We change every single year. So
I got lots of ideas, but how do you pay for them? So, Fear Factory's family-owned, operated, and argued over since 2010. And so I think for me it's planning and start trying to have meetings in November. And everybody's so burned out, nobody wants to talk about it. And then all of a sudden you wonder how it's September already, you know? So some of our bigger things that we do, we get Talis involved, and he's constantly around the country and, you know, not available. So it's like getting everybody to decide on what zones are going to get changed and come up with a plan and a budget and do it early, because a lot of the things we do, and if you notice, we have a lot of like bobcats and forklifts and stuff, because everything we do is oversized and takes more than guys and machinery to do it. So for us, it's getting everybody to commit and then keeping everybody from changing their mind, I think. But we have an awesome general manager, Spencer, that is awesome and keeps everybody, beats everybody in order. So he does all the dorky spreadsheeting and stuff that just makes me want to sleep. Yeah, I hate it, but he keeps everybody on task, and so that helps.
I'd say the hardest thing, that's a tough question. Hardest thing is finishing the season. I hate this ending part. Really, the hardest thing I think is training all the new people and getting the cast all on the same page and working together. And these guys do an amazing job. I mean, the team that we've got assembled. And as soon as we really are clicking good, it seems like it's over. And we get a break for 10 months. That's I think the biggest challenge, is keeping the 200 people all going in the same direction at the same time.
That's great. You guys, I think they actually deserve a really huge round of applause for their honesty, their candor, and answering all these questions tonight. Sorry, I asked the tough one, but my final one is actually, this one will be more fun for each of you. So Keith, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
What is the most...
Next question.
What is the most fun thing you do with your attraction all year?
Just building the stuff and hanging out, and we just build dumb stuff and get to go to auctions and get oversized crap and weld it together and do art. Like for me, this is like the funnest thing. Yeah. And then it has been a while, but getting in the show, anytime we can ever get in the show and you can just go ape nuts on strangers.
Mike?
I think the most satisfying thing is actually seeing the public pull in and line up and come through the door every night. That's exhilarating for me, is to know that they are coming to see something that we created. And so I like that. I like that feeling.
Rob, I'm going to you next. Most fun thing you do all year at your event.
This is too hard. We do so many fun events, even in the off season with all of our team. But I think the most fun thing is just seeing the smiles on customers' faces and the excitement as they're exiting and having fun, and And I think that's the reward of all the hard work and all the many hours that we sweat and bleed and grind our knuckles down.
Travis?
I can't say the same thing for the third time, but I would probably have to say, other than those, I really love seeing the haunted house go from, storyboard whip sketch ideas in our development meetings to tearing out rooms to building them, and then seeing the finished product and seeing really the public interact with it. Everything we do in this industry is to entertain and to help people have an enjoyable experience, whether that's screaming or laughing. But I just love seeing it go from start to finish and seeing that final product.
Fantastic. All right, again, let's go ahead and give Fear Factory a round of applause for hosting us last night. And now let's review our itinerary for tonight's event at Nightmare on 13th. So, we are going to experience, you guys want to review or do you want me to? All right, we're going to experience a full show with their performers. Then we're going to take a lights on tour of their event, and that's going to include their makeup room, their costume area. And that'll be...
That's the haunted house, as well as our new side attraction, Extreme.
Fantastic. Then the buses are going to leave Nightmare on 13th at 10:30 p.m. We are going to tell you a little bit about the after party. What's happening tonight is we are going to Soundwell. Soundwell is a club, and we have a special roped off section for anybody who's attended the tour, and we'll have snacks there and then the cash bar. The buses will drop everybody. We'll stop at Soundwell. Anybody who wants to get off there, you can go ahead, and then we'll drop everybody else off at the hotel. That is the only bus of the night, but Soundwell is only a 3 to 5 minute walk, depending on how fast you walk back to the Holiday Inn, okay?
1 minute scooter.
1 minute on the scooter, there you go. Okay, questions? You guys ready to move on?